So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Girls Frontline is going to definitely be the first mobile game, I guess, after Brave Exvius, but the first one that I really stuck with long term. And I want to put a decent amount of, more or less, a guide for it. Now, this is going to be the Generalist guide to starting out Girls Frontline, but I want to start out with a quick disclaimer here before I create a brand new Sunborn ID to continue on with. And the disclaimer, very plain and simply put, is going to be, I am not the guy to go to if you want to know everything that you need to know to be able to min-max your account or anything like that. I am not at all this type of person that has that much extensive knowledge on this game to do so. This guide is going to be directed more at newcomers that want to know what they should invest in, what is a good mindset going into the game, what to invest in, what shouldn't be things as a priority to invest in, and just generalist knowledge, like I said, about what to do to be able to progress the game and not feel as though they are as lost as they would be otherwise. Now, that being said, if you guys were to ask me about what a unit can do, if a certain unit is decent or something like that, yes, I can give you a general description about why or why not they are a decent unit in this, or this, and all that other stuff. But I will tell you guys flat out right now that any unit can be viable up to a certain point. There's a lot of content that even like a 2-star unit, when you invest into them, will be able to clear. They may not fucking... They may underperform at, like, high-end content later in the game, but you can get any unit to do whatever that you need to be able to progress the ladder, so that is the first thing that I'll tell you right there. But let's go ahead and continue, and I want to make my Sunborn ID, so I'm going to go ahead and skip until that is done, so that, you know, my information can't be ripped. Would be nice, at least. Okay, and there we are. I do not remember what my initial account's name is, so we're going to go with Lord Fluffy Bottom. Damn it, does it really have to be 12 or shorter? I guess Lolly Dragoon then. Fine. So it's been a while since I started this game from scratch, and I don't know what would be different or if it even matters, but like I said, we're going to get a generalist idea of what we need to. Now, we're going to have story shit here, but that doesn't really matter. I'm not doing this for the story in any way, shape, or form. I am doing this for the content and telling you guys what would be a great way to clear and showing you my account being upgraded over time and the things that I am doing to get to that point. So we're just going to completely skip all of this. I think I do have my keys set up for zooming out. So, alright, combat summary. Battlefield information anywhere to close. This is telling you what you need to know about the thing. So, command centers, command posts. This is going to be a strategy-based game where you're moving around all of your echelons to be able to capture nodes. And that's basically the whole entire point of the game. Heliports will allow you to resupply echelons with ammo and their rations so that you can continue to use them. You can also repair any units that you have on heliports. Command posts, same thing, except they are far more important. You lose the command post, it is like losing your construction yard in an RTS game. You will lose the battle. So do not lose your command posts. These can also be lost through something called encirclement, which means if you capture the nodes that are connected, all of the nodes that a certain node connects to, the next turn, if it is not, like, anything isn't done about it in the immediate turn that you have to respond, then you will lose that node through encirclement, which is very important later on into the game. Random, doesn't matter. Could give you a battle, could give you some fucking resources, could steal some resources from you. It's random. And then nodes are nodes. These aren't super important unless you're trying to completely, like, black out the map, which is a thing that you will want to do if you're trying to get the free gems, which is the currency for the game. So, AR team, they're telling me to do this shit, and go ahead to do that to move. So, done. End round. And this is what the combat sequence looks like. Oh dear God, this is a terrible echelon. Do not build your team like this. Do not ever put a fucking SMG in the back middle row like that with snipers on the side. Don't do that. I don't think there's really anything else that I need to say here. I'm just hoping that this fucking tutorial ends super soon. Which there's talking about the encirclement, yeah. So we have the outside and the other side over here, so that will be encircled next round. As aforementioned, I am not here for the story at all in any way, shape, or form. So we're not going to worry about the story. So I think they're going to tell us about losing T-dolls and stuff like that, where they need to start running away and stuff. Unless I can't tell them to go. I never realized that that boss bug eyes behind her mask. Holy fuck. Like, she literally does. She was, like, bug-eyed behind her mask. I never realized that before. I don't really fight her enough. I know that there's, like, an X-mode variant that's harder. But, I never really... Like I said, there's a lot of content I still have yet to clear in this game. So that's the general way that the combat works, is all that kind of stuff right there. We'll get into more, like, maps and how certain things work later on down the line. But for right now, we gotta get through all of this stupid tutorial nonsense. Like formation. So it's just telling me to go ahead and fucking socket M1911 right there, and then you can go ahead and move them around to be able to get them to do certain things. So they're all handguns, they're all going to buff everybody, so there you go. And that's really all that needs to be said right there. Now they're going to have us go into a fucking combat simulation, I think. No, to combat simulation, actually. Just the first combat mission, which is a fucking... exactly that. Which is a combat drill. Again, we're not here for the story. We do not really care that much. If you guys want to know the story, then just go ahead and fucking play it or watch it or whatever the case is. You're not really missing out on that much, though. I actually do really enjoy the storyline in this game. It's one of the things that I actually do really like. I'm not really a big story person when it comes to mobile games, but like I said, I do really enjoy the storyline to Girls Frontline. It's actually pretty dope. Ah, yes. So... Now, the other thing to keep in mind as well here, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is kind of important, this little line, and we'll go over this later on. This is where your units will actually start shooting at the enemy units. Very important to know, because the further forward that other units are that you have, the further that will be. Like, they will be able to aim further out. Okay, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I apparently hit my mute button during the first mission that I was doing, so I probably jump cut all the way up to this point. It's okay, you didn't really miss a whole lot of anything, and that is fine, so... I'm gonna not do that one again, because that was a dumb on my end, but this would be the T-doll, I am harassing this poor 1911. Alright, never mind, there's not a place for you to sit anymore. This is where you go, where you grab batteries. They regenerate over time, certain times. You'll get a notification on your phone every single time that batteries are able for you to be, like, to grab them, but there's like a 3-hour window to pick them up, so you don't need to really run to it. This place is a pigsty at the moment, and I fucking absolutely hate the way the base dormitory looks like, and I will never get used to this shit. And I still, to this day, don't really use more than 2 dormitories. I never bought more than 1 dormitory. I never needed more than 1 dormitory, and I've never had a battery problem, literally ever. So, depending on what you have for furniture that is in here, which furniture, unfortunately, you do need to get through the system in the game that you pay money for, but you get tokens over time from events and various other things. They kind of hand them out like fucking candy to you, but not enough for you to be able to reliably get the outfits and stuff. That's what you would actually put money into the game for, is outfits. They don't provide you any legitimate benefits to the stats of the unit. They just make them look pretty as shit and change their animations and stuff, and sometimes they're live 2D. So you're basically paying for PNG files, essentially. But aside from what I was saying there, that's really, this is where you would go to that, and that's where resupply is. You would use these to be able to do a single or a 10 pull. I've never done a single pull in my life using tokens. I always go for the full resupply. I don't see why you wouldn't, and usually how this works is you have the regular one that's on, this would be like your banner 10 pull, essentially, And then there are these that are worth 60, which are much cheaper. So it really just depends on what you want. I usually go for the 60s anyway. I never really go for banner pulls, because when you're free to play, you don't have all of that fucking a large amount of tokens that you can spend on things. Though I'm not gonna lie, I really do want that MG4 kimono right there. That's fucking gorgeous. And it's live 2D, but there's a very low chance that I would wind up pulling that. I would like it, though. So, I think we are out of the tutorial for the... We're not out of the tutorial. Cool, so I'm going to get a fucking direction around the base. This is actually kind of important. But, we've gotten away from most of the nonsense here. Data room actually is kind of important. Do I want to upgrade something here? I probably should. Yeah, fuck it. I'll upgrade this real quickly. Takes a minute to do so. What do we have available in here? So we went to the dorm. You've already seen the factory for a little while, I think. If not, I'll show you guys it in more depth in a moment. We have a rescue station, and I think that's about it for now, because I know that we don't have ferries unlocked for a little while. Can I upgrade something here as well? I believe I can. Now, these animals are actually a really easy way for you to be able to build up your dorms so that you can get more batteries out of them. So I would recommend when you have the extra batteries for them, they are definitely worth your time. And not just for that, but when you unlock expeditions, which is a really big thing that we will be talking about when that pops up. Expeditions are one of the easiest ways that you can get combat reports and speed level the fuck out of your characters. I highly recommend that you try to upgrade that with your batteries as soon as humanly possible when you unlock expeditions. And Rescue Station will help you with that because you can send 3 pets and 5 T-dolls out at a time to do an expedition. Which also increases, makes you want to gather as many T-dolls as humanly possible as well. Because the more that you have, the more of a chance that you will have of the T-dolls giving you a bonus of the amount of rewards from said expedition. So, just another thing to point out right there. That's one of the biggest things that I can say to you guys right there. Try to get as many T-dolls as you can. Not just for collection purposes, but because it really does benefit you tremendously by doing so. Which is why I highly recommend as well that when you get gems, one of the best purchases that you can do is increasing your T-doll capacity. A lot of people say just go straight echelons on it, but I disagree to a degree. Because the more T-dolls that you can hold, the better of a position that you will be in almost fucking universally here. So, that being said, we're going to do upgrades, I think. Yeah, I want your evasion up a little bit, so we'll do that. Though I need to level them up more to be able to do that. But as we were saying here, so I don't know if you guys saw that or not, because I don't remember where I cut out in the last. So let's just go ahead and go through the actual gacha system really quickly here. So we have 35 minutes until I pull the illustrious K5, one of my favorite pistols in the game. She is incredibly universal and probably going to be one of my first higher-end handguns I use on this account, to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting to pull something like that at first, but she's quite good. Sip out of my coffee, sorry about that. Other than that, it's going to take a T-doll contract every single time that you pull from the gacha. That's the main thing that you want to get. T-doll contracts are obtained primarily from clearing out your quests for the day. There's a couple of ways that you can do this. The other way that you would get those is from your logistics runs, like I was mentioning prior. Whether or not that you guys have heard it before, though, I'll just repeat myself, assuming that I had to cut the footage. Logistics runs are kind of like expeditions or quests that you would do in any other fucking... They're named a number of things across mobile games, but essentially you send out a team or a set number of units that you have in your unit collector game, and after X number of time, they will give you X rewards. And that's all that is. You cannot use those units that you send out during the time that they are being sent out on a logistics run. Which is why a lot of people highly recommend that you get as many echelons as you can in the early game. Once you have 8 echelons, you can secure the possibility, or a definitive number of, wow, brain fucking Christ, I can't word that properly. You secure the ability to send out 4 echelons for your logistics runs, and you also have 4 echelons that you can use, which is usually the hard cap anyway for just about anything that you do for content. So you have 4 battle echelons, and you will have 4 logistics run echelons, which they're really only dependent on the max level of the leader of that, on what logistics runs that they can do. So that's like really the only level that matters. Anything else is just fluff by increasing the chance of you getting like extra rewards from it. So that being said, though, it's not really that important, and I assure you that like the level and who you send doesn't really matter that much. That's why I'm telling you guys to get as many T-dolls as you can, because then you have more that you can send out to do things. But that's why people recommend that as well, so that you can send out more logistics runs, you can keep your resources nice and high, because for every level that you have, let's see if it lets me do this. It won't. Of course it won't. Fuck off, dude. What are you telling me to do right now? I don't care about that. I guess go to memory collection, it's telling me. I was going to show you guys my fucking level, but it won't allow me to do that for some reason right now. I do appreciate the free resources, though. I've never gone to memory collection. Like, I literally have never done that before. Alright, so up here is what I wanted to say. Your commander level is one of the most single important things that you have in this game, and by running more runs, the more commander level you will have, which gives you access to more and more features over the course of the game. There are some games like Arknights, where your commander level is just the number of resources that you have to spend in the day, which would be like your resource limit right there, which, while I have that, and while your level affects your resource limit, it doesn't matter. Because your logistic runs will give you more resources than your resource limit. It just means that they won't regenerate over time. So your resource limit does not fucking matter in the slightest. And that's why whenever that you guys see me on a video, I have like 100,000 of each resource. That is a good 60 to 70,000 more resources at least, more than what my resource cap is at commander level, like 100 and some fuck level that I am. Your resource limit doesn't matter. That is not why you want to level up your commander level. Your commander level is directly responsible for the features that you have access to. For example, commander level 12 I need in order to be able to get into the research option to be able to work on my T-doll skills and to be able to access Neural Cloud. But that's another thing much later on down the line anyway. I don't even think you have access to that immediately. As well as access to equipment, which is locked until you clear 2-6, but there's other things. Heavy production is locked until you clear 30 different stages. It is all of these manner of things that you cannot do until you clear certain stages or until you are a certain commander level to be able to unlock them. And I think if we go into the base, rather than clicking on that thing to the right, you will see that there are, forward base camp locked until commander level 20, for example. Protocol control feature is not released. Yeah, that is true. I don't even fucking recall what that is. 8-6 you need for the Intelligence Center, which is where you get Heavy Ordnance Core T-doll units, which is also the same exact thing right there as the garage. Fairies, I think, are night battles. No, it's just 60 clears. Alright, that's fine. But that's how you unlock all of that stuff. And that's what mostly this video is going to be here as well, is just showing you guys what everything is and what is important as well. So, I just want you to be very aware of what that is. And like I said, research is locked until commander level 12. What that is it allows you to work on your T-doll's individual skills. These are not incredibly important until later on down the line. Now, somebody like Sten, your skill is Hand Grenade, okay? You can also do this every unit, by the way. This is important for certain specific units where you don't want them to automatically use that skill. And it will help you tremendously when it comes to very specific and weird niche units like JS9 that give you different abilities depending on how many enemies are out on the field. You want to force that shit manually so that you can choose when that procs, okay? Sten, by the way, is a very highly recommended main tank or off tank unit. She is considered technically an off-tank because of this hand grenade right here, because it basically puts her into the DPS category. But she can main tank in the early game, or probably even the mid to late game. I'm not 100% sure. My recommendation for a 3-star SMG tank, though, still goes to the Mach 11 Ingram, which we will see her much later on. But because of that hand grenade skill, she's lacking in the main tank department. I think she has good evasion. She also has amazing tiles if she's in the main tank position. She will buff everybody in the back line with accuracy and the lesser needed evasion. Accuracy is nice. especially for ART dolls with that have lower accuracy scores than other, but you're not really going to be needing accuracy for the better part of things. Damage is a lot more... Damage and ROF in general, rate of fire, are a lot more nice to have for your backliners and your damage dealers. Also, here's the thing to be noted as well with different T-doll types. SMGs will always, or at least almost always, buff AR units. That is how that works. AR and SMGs are meant to work alongside each other based off of how their tiles are, and they will buff behind them. This goes all into the formation things for later on down the line. So, what do handguns do? With that being said, let's go actually over to Galil first. So, she buffs in the front in SMG with accuracy and evasion. What does that mean for you? Well, the evasion is nice if you wanted to put her under a right behind a main tank. But because of that accuracy, 50%, I would say Galil is a lot more fitted to be put behind your off-tanking SMG that you want to do damage. SMGs suffer from very bad accuracy, so having that extra accuracy makes all of the difference if you are ever going to run a unit like the SR3MP, which is a really good off-tanking SMG DPS unit. So that is what you would definitely want, is accuracy. They can't be missing if you want them to do damage, essentially. But Galil is a whole other story entirely versus most common ARs anyway, because her skill is honestly really, really bad. She won't miss pretty much anything. You probably can put her into night battles and she would be fine, to be honest with you, because of that 200% accuracy score, but I don't like Galil's skill. I don't think many people like Galil's skill. It's kind of poopy, but she will get the job done if you just need an AR that's a cheap AR to build. And then we have pistols, which are the only other things that are in here. Pistols will buff every single unit type. 1911, by the way, is deceptively good. She also has a neural upgrade, which is something that you will see much later on down the line, but just bear it in mind for the time being, which will actually increase her to, I believe, a 4-star unit. 1911 has pretty basic tiles. You can put her at the center of any echelon, and she will buff your main tank and your 2 damage-dealing ARs with rate of fire and accuracy, which is very good. She also has a smoke grenade, which is not something to be taken lightly for a skill. This is a very good support unit skill. It'll make everybody move slower and essentially deal less damage because their rate of fire also decreases. And this is 20 and 28% for the first level. This can just be increased once you unlock the research tree. 1911 is not a unit to be scoffed at. She is very good at what she does, and her neural upgrade, when you get that, makes her even better because she can actually put out a bit of damage because she will start doing extra damage during her smoke grenade and shoot grenades. So she's a really fucking awesome unit, especially later on when you want to not use nearly as many resources to be able to clear event content. You can put a 1911 as a main tank in front of any AR, like, I don't know, AK-12 or AN-94, and they can clear the early content for like 2,000, 3,000 CE enemy units, and they'll do just fine and take no damage. So just bear that one in mind. 1911 is not somebody to be scoffed at. She's a very good unit. Beyond that, I think we've gone over pretty much everything for the most part. I was talking to you guys about tiles with formation, but just in case I haven't, let's go into formation. So, I don't remember what MP40 does. I don't use MP40. I don't like MP40. I always had Sten as my main tank as well as Scorpion as a main tank. I didn't really care too much about everybody else. I'd like some ARs in the back line, but we're lacking a lot of T-dolls to be able to do that, and she has really weird fucking tiles, so I'm putting the, whatever the hell that you're called. She's a good night battle pistol for later on down the line, especially if you mod to her, but that'll be later on. I don't remember what she does. I really do not. But that's going to be the best way that I'm going to set up that formation. You can see what everybody's buffs are that they're giving to everybody based on the bottom. Hourglass is rate of fire, and then this is accuracy. That is damage, 16%, and that is, I believe, crit rates. Which is another reasoning that makes her really good for a starter 2-star pistol. She's a crit rate boosting handgun, and that is gold. That is literal gold in Girls Frontline. We all know how good crit rate is for doing damage in any meta in any RPG ever created. I'm also trying to kill time until this logistics run is done, by the way. That's the other thing that I'm trying to do right now. Can I back out of here? and then I'll get my shit. Nope. What if I go to combat and back out? Give me my T-doll! Alright, I'm gonna need to figure that one out in a minute, I think. But I think that's going to wrap up for the most part here. I mean, I might as well show you guys some stuff because the video's gotta be relatively short, but I might just do a second video altogether. This is all content in the storyline, by the way, just as a note. This is all extra storyline shit that you probably won't be able to clear right at the start, to be perfectly honest with you. And combat sim is until level 12. Alright, cool. We can probably hit rank 12 pretty easily, too. I don't want to send you out for another thing. What I want to do is I want to farm some T-dolls, baby. That's what I want to do. We have a PPK, and we have everybody that's there. This gives us the PO8. That is actually a very recommended handgun that I would say for you guys. PO8 is actually pretty good with her tiles. And this is a highly recommended SMG T-doll as well, Spectre M4. She's not the greatest. She's got an evasion boosting self skill, but she'll get the job done. She has a lot of health too, I believe. Emergency battles you will unlock when you clear all of your normal stages. So, once you clear all 6 of these, you will have 4 emergency stages. And once you clear the 4 emergency stages, you'll have night battle stages. Night battles are a completely different animal from anything else that you do in this game. Night battles completely kill 90% of your accuracy on a T-doll, which is a big deal. And in order to be able to get that back, you have to put equipment on your T-dolls, which is unlocked on assault rifles at level 20, which gives them night battle equipment, which is basically just a laser sight that you put on it, and it'll give them X percentage of their accuracy back. Gold, obviously, is 100%. At least that's the maximum of any 5-star PEQ laser sight. And then I think the bare minimum is anywhere between 40 to 55%, something like that. You'll notice the differences when you start seeing them, but we're not even remotely anywhere near where equipment is in Girls Frontline yet. I'm not going to overflood you guys with too much information right now, but one thing I would like to do is start to get some of these going, but I want 2 echelons at my disposal for 1-3. So you know what? Let's go ahead and talk about this as well, because I don't remember if I had mentioned it earlier, but we have the S rank here, but we do not have the silver. So the silver is just by occupying every unit on the field. Let's get that done so that I can auto-battle this stage later on down the line. So let's get that done. Because this was the stage where I wasn't actually putting any fucking commentary into anything, and I had fucked up. Though before that, we're also going to do one other thing. I'm going to go into my settings and disable auto resupply. I highly recommend that you guys do this and try to get into the motion of learning this as well. So if you go into battle and you go to auto resupply, you can turn that off right there. Auto activation of fairy skills, yeah, you probably want that one on at all times. Bullet time is also good. It means that when you click on a T-doll to be able to move them around the battlefield, it'll slow down time, which very good thing to abuse the shit out of. I actually like cut-in animations, but you can turn those off entirely, which are off by default. And then heavy damage protection means that they will start running out of the battlefield when they get put into a critical damage status, so that you don't lose the T-doll. Now, if your T-dolls die, you actually get directly punished by it in this game. They will like you less, and you will have less affinity with that T-doll if you let them take critical damage and die. So, don't let your T-dolls die in battle. Be better. Be a better commander. We do not let our girls die on the field of combat. No man left behind. That is how that's supposed to work. So, while I'm trying to, think of all the different things that I want to show you guys and, let you guys know with this game, I'm trying to fucking go through each individual part and figure out what the fuck I'm doing here. And I apologize, because, I'm really kind of as I'm trying to figure it out, but I'm getting there. I don't want you to take any fucking damage. Who has the best buffs all types, huh? I probably can put PPK in there. There we go. So PPK, you're going to be... She's actually a debuffer handgun, but we're going to put her there. And she's going to be our tank. I don't want her to be our tank, but I don't really have any other options there. So, without auto resupply on, these values are not going to go up until you click on them twice and you resupply. Again, that's very important for corpse dragging in the future. What that means, corpse dragging, just to give you a quick summary, you just have 2 T-dolls carrying 3 what you call corpses, quote unquote. They don't contribute anything combat-wise. You have a damage dealer, and you have a unit that soaks up all of the damage. This can be an SMG, or this can be a unit that you'll unlock later on called the M16A2, who is the queen of corpse dragging. Basically, it just means they soak up all of the damage while the DPS kills everything on the field, and the 3 other units are just way in the back and they take no damage. And you would swap out every single time that you go through the run, whoever your DPS unit is, which is right here where Sten MK2 is, and you would click them in echelon formation and swap them out with another unit from another echelon. And then you rinse, wash, and repeat, and you refill the supplies of the other echelon that you bring into the group. That is how corpse dragging works for the betterment of any explanation right there. But you can only do it with auto resupply off. Now that being said, let's continue on with the actual run. 2 adjacent echelons can swap positions, which do not cost any moves for you to be able to do that. Again, abusable, and also required to do certain clears later on in the game. Our duty of what we're trying to do right here is trying to just get every single unit out on the field right now. We want to capture every fucking node. Who has the incendiary grenade? Is that MP40? I think it was. Incendiary grenades aren't great, but incendiary grenades are another thing that elevates SMGs to being off-tank because it means that you have damage over time, so... I don't really care much for grenades much. Unless it's a smoke grenade, I really don't care about any grenade that an SMG unit has, if I'm going to be blunt with you. They're not really game breakers. Grenades in general aren't really like game changers, unless you're talking about K11's terror grenade. And I'm actually going to end the turn right there, and then on the next turn we'll win, because if I move up that other echelon, then we'll win by encirclement, and we won't get the 4... hold on, wait, what is... Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm not going for an S rank anyway. I want the silver medal. So, that's fine. We just need to capture everything on the field. Okay, let's see how well you do, girls. And I'll warn you guys against it right now as well, even for the late game. Just don't run handguns as tanks unless it's like an absolute necessity for like a rifle composition when you're trying to do like armor shredders for night battles with rifles and handguns, because they directly synergize with each other with their units. We don't have any rifles on the team right now, but I'll show you why that is in a little while, or when we get to that stage in the Generalist guide. But really the best thing that I can tell you is just don't... I'm only doing it now because I can, it's also super early, but don't make a handgun do an SMG's job on tanking. You're going to regret that. And the main reasoning is because they just do not have the health to be able to handle tanking, and they never will. And they do have great evasion late game, especially when you have them with good exoskeletons to boost their evasion. But evasion is a little bit of a special snowflake that is not as good as you remotely think that it is. It has a very steep fall-off after a certain point, and you could have all the evasion in the world. You could have 300 plus evasion if that's even possible in this game. And it's not going to help you that much because you're going to get hit eventually, and damage continually increases the harder that enemies get. And evasion doesn't keep up with it after a while, and when you get hit and the evasion rolls don't work out in your favor, the only thing that you have that's consistent to rely on is HP. And SMGs have 2 to 3 times or more, possibly even the HP that handguns have. It's just not a reliable source of damage mitigation. It'll work for quick battles, and if you have nothing else going on, or if you're trying to just use lesser resources, but it's going to cost you, and you're going to need to repair your units, because they're going to take damage. But here we go. We have our silver medal, and that means that I can now auto-battle this if I really wanted to. I'm not going to, but I can if I want to. So, that is now done. I'm going to cut out this episode, and I think in the next part, I'm going to keep going through all of these stages to be able to get most of Chapter 1 completed, to move into Chapter 2. And that'll be the next part of the guide. I believe I have gone over a decent summary of everything that is going on here, but the only other thing that I would leave off on, guys, is make sure you are doing your quests. I didn't have a fucking thing telling me that I had any of these quests done, but do your fucking quests. That is how you get your T-Doll contracts, your equipment contracts, a bit of resources here and there, Commander XP. You get a lot of goodies from just doing quests, as well as, if you see right here, gems. You get a lot of gems from doing all of those little medals that you're trying to clear for your gold medal, your silver medal, and your bronzes. Clear new missions as you get them, and do all of that good shit. Okay? That is a definite thing that you want to do. One of the easiest things that you can do for, like, doing your daily quests every single day is you should log in, you should roll whatever T-Dolls that you can. You should always... I think how that works, too, especially when you have enough resources for it, you usually, at least in my case, I always get my T-Doll contracts back, the amount that I had spent on originally for rolling in production, just from doing all of my daily quests, which is enhance a T-Doll 4 times. There's enhance a T-Doll once, and then enhance a T-Doll 3 times, so total of 4. There is, roll 4 equipment, and then roll 4 T-Dolls in production. And I think that's it for the most part. There's clearing maps, which is good. That'll also give you cores if you keep clearing maps for the day, and a token. That's the other good thing. But yes, produce 3 T-Dolls. So if I produce 3 more T-Dolls, I will get a quick production contract and tokens. Logistic supports are nice, so always try to do those. Enhancements. Repairing coalition units or T-Dolls as well. Just a good extra thing to get repair contracts, especially in the early game. You will never have too many repair contracts until you're at a stage in the game like me where I've been playing it for 3 years and I literally have almost 3,000 quick repair contracts and I can just burn through them on events. But you will never have too many of these motherfuckers. Just repair units as you can as you are clearing content. When they even take 1 point of damage, just repair them. In fact, I'm going to do that right now with my MP40. But pay attention to what your quests are down there and just clear those every day when you can, so that you can absolutely amass all the T-Doll contracts that you can. The more you have, the less you have to fucking worry about it in the long run. Just do it. And then battle simulations we cannot do right now, but at Commander level 12, we'll be able to do that one pretty easily. Cannot produce equipment right now, that's fine. Cannot do equipment enhancements right now, that's fine. Wouldn't worry about this one until you gather a real large amount of equipment, though, so don't worry about it. Getting shared batteries from friends' dorms, that's very easy to do if you have friends. Just add people when you're leveling up. That's another thing to do, and I'll actually show you that one before we back out of here as well. That might be the last thing that I'll leave you off on, but main quests. Look, we got a fucking Sten MK2. We'll actually go over something as well that's very important to talk about before we jump into dorms. So that's how we're going to leave off on this video, guys. So, one of the most important upgrades to do, you have T-Doll enhancements whenever that your T-Dolls are leveling up, which you guys have already seen. And I'm actually going to burn through a couple of random T-Dolls just so that I can get my enhancement quest done. That'll, like... It won't do anything at all towards adding towards the level. You need to burn enough T-Dolls to get an upgrade, though. I'm just doing that for funsies. Now, since we have a backup Sten MK2, I'm going to tell you guys this right now. If you have a 3-star or a higher T-Doll, never use these for enhancement. Do not. Never use these for enhancement. If you're going to do anything, retire that T-Doll if you need to make space. We're not going to retire her, but let's just hit OK so that you can see you get 1 T-Doll core, okay? T-Doll cores are like fucking gold. They really are. We have 6 of them, and you get them from doing your daily quests as well. A high note to remember. Stack as many of these dummy cores as you possibly can. You will not get them remotely reliably enough in the game, unless there are certain things that are going on for events that allow you to pull, like, sometimes there are supply drops that you get where you can open X amount, and they'll drop T-Doll cores pretty consistently, as well as enhancement capsules. But we'll get into those later on when enhancement capsules come up. Speaking of, I got another T-Doll core that I'm going to... a T-Doll thing that I'm going to do here. I'm actually going to roll for an assault rifle, because we need some of these. And 325, I think that actually is a 4-star, believe it or not. I'm going to open up the production that I opened up before. 325, you can tell by the amount of time, by the way, depending on who you'll pull. So, 3 hours and 25 minutes. Is a Type 56-1 Chinese assault rifle, an XM8, or a SAR-21. All of those are kind of mediocre, but, you know, they're good for the collection. So, I'm still happy about it regardless. It's still a 4-star T-Doll that I wound up pulling for my first assault rifle, so I'm alright with that. Beyond this, dummy linking is the most efficient upgrading you can do for your units. And dummy linking requires these dummy cores to do so. So at the respective levels of 10, 30, 70, and 90, you will increase your T-Doll's number of dummies that they have. So your first dummy link at level 10 is really important because it'll actually double your T-Doll's efficiency in combat. What dummy links do is it'll actually make your teams look like the way that my teams look like, where I have like 5 of that unit on the field. It actually duplicates them. And it's actually, there's a lore reasoning for this, by the way, but it will make it so that they are doing twice as much damage. They will have twice as much health, because they're firing twice as much bullets, they're doing twice as much damage. And that's how that works. And that'll continue to increase until you have 5 of the T-Dolls. Now, there's also a big downfall to that as well, which means, well, honestly, it's not really a downfall, but it's just something to keep noted. If T-Dolls take damage, and it goes below 80% of their health when they're at 5x, for example, you will now have 4 T-Dolls. So you're doing 80% of the damage you would be doing otherwise, which means you want to keep your DPSs as healthy as humanly possible in this game, and you have to remember that later on down the line. But you get a lot of bonuses from dummy linking, and that is the most important upgrade that you can do. I cannot stress that enough for you guys. Enhancements are good. You should always enhance your T-Dolls when you can. Get your T-Dolls leveled up so that you can dummy link them to 3x. And when you get them dummy linked to 4x at level 70, you will notice a tremendous difference in an SMG's survivability than your 3x's. I fucking guarantee you guys. That is such a power jump when you go from 3x to 4x. And you can only do that by keeping dummy cores. And this is why I tell you guys from the beginning, if I didn't mention it before, and I will mention it again, do not work on 4x and 5x T-Dolls unless you have quite a lot of dummy cores to spend. Wait until you stack duplicates of the unit. Because when Sten reaches level 10, I will be able to dummy link her, and then I am going to use a duplicate of herself to dummy link her. Otherwise, it would cost 3 dummy cores, or T-Doll cores, to make her a 2x. Keep duplicates of your units if you can keep duplicates of them. This is why I tell everybody capacity of your T-Dolls is also, honestly, the most important thing. Upgrade that as soon as you can. It's 280 diamonds to increase it by 10. But having more capacity for your T-Dolls will allow you to hold on to more duplicates of more of your 4 and 5-star T-Dolls. You can hit level 10, level 30 with them, and then you can 3x them, and then don't worry about it after that point. You can even break them down if you want, but I highly recommend that you keep duplicates for T-Dolls that you want to work on. That's why I say do not work on 4x and 5x, because you need to actually use your T-Doll cores on story T-Dolls that you will unlock. You will not obtain another copy of the story T-Dolls that you gain from going through the actual quest line of the game. Okay? I repeat that again. When you unlock characters like the M4A1, M16A2, AR-15, SOP Mod 2, and Row 635, but Row 635 is also level 90 and Dummy 5, but when you unlock the story T-Dolls for AR Team, you will not get another copy of that T-Doll. So don't break them down, ever. I don't think that many people have actually broken them down because they get automatically locked when you get them. but you cannot get a duplicate of them, which means that you have to spend your dummy cores on those units. And those units will carry you through pretty much any content in the fucking game. They are not weak. They are very strong, gimme free T-dolls that you get. Upgrade them. They will carry you. They will do a lot of good work for you, except for maybe M16A2. But she's very niche at what she does, and she has her uses. But AR-15, SOP Mod 2, and M4A1 are extremely powerful T-dolls that you get from story, and you have to use your cores for them. Focus on saving your cores for those units, specifically, and keep duplicates of your 4 stars and your 5 stars. And then you can even spend some T-doll cores, honestly, on the 3-star units. That's fine, but it's easier for you to just grind out getting a duplicate of them because they're just 3-star units. They're super easy to get. You might as well just burn the duplicates. Okay, so we're done with that. I talked about the main thing right there. Let's go to dorms, and I need to find some friends. So, actually, I probably should have just gone to the friends menu, but you can also visit people right through here and visit random people. I'm actually going to visit a specific friend, which is going to be myself. So let me go ahead and look for a name. I don't think I have a UID, but let me see if I can find myself through the name. Because I think I'm Lol Dragoon. I can't remember. I think I actually have Lol Dragoon as my main account. Oh no, I don't have a UID. Let me try that. Oh no, I'm gonna need to figure out what my account is by using my phone and then add myself in the next. But that is, you can add friends right here, right? You can add regular old people, and they'll help you out for the most part. If they accept your friend request, it's good to just go through the list and add a couple of random people so that you can visit them. And I will show you visiting in a minute. So I'm just gonna add fucking 10 random people right here going down the list. I'm not gonna go crazy with it because I don't need like a billion people that I don't fucking know being added into my friends list. I'm not one of those types of people. I hate being that guy, or I hate having that guy add me, and then you go ahead and you add them into your friends list and it tells you that their friends list is full because they just went down the list and just fucking added everybody that they saw and they didn't pay attention to numbers. Don't be that guy. I don't like being that guy. Alrighty, so yes, visit, and then you can visit a random person down here. When you visit a random person, you can't actually see this, but that is where their batteries would be. And if this is a friend, I think it's specifically with friends. I don't think you can do it with random people, but I can like their dorm. And then visit another random person. Let me just make 100% certainty. Yeah, you will not see the batteries. You can get 2 batteries, I think, for every friend that you click on, for a total of, I think, 21 batteries by the time that you're done, because the last one gives you like a bonus of 3 or something. It might even be 23. I don't know what the total is. I never fucking counted it up. It's minuscule levels of batteries, but it adds up if you do it every day. So if you have 10 friends, you can just go through the friends list, add like 10 of their dorms, just fucking hit the like button, and then grab their batteries and you get free shit. So that's something that you should definitely try to prioritize earlier on. If you guys have newer accounts as well, by the way, I will actually allow you to see my UID. Not like it really fucking matters that much, though. But if you want to go ahead and add me, absolutely, you can add this account. You can even add my main account. I'll probably get that UID out to you guys in another video, but, or it's already in a previous video, and you can go ahead and click through there. But I don't really care that much. I don't have a massive friends list on my other account anyway, though, and you could probably benefit from my echelon that you are able to use pretty significantly there, because it's pretty fucking overpowered, but this is me. If you guys want to go ahead and add me. And we're going to end the first episode here of the Generalist Guide to Girls Frontline. And the next part, we're going to try to clear Chapter 1, and we will go on from there. So I will see you guys then. Take it easy.